Let's begin by briefly reviewing the process for performing a patient search and adding patients into your personal census. To perform a patient search, you can refer to the Home or the Patients tab of the main menu. Selecting either of these buttons will populate below the 4 essential tabs into the well: Personal Census, Patient Search, Account Selection, and Nursing Station Census Search. We'll perform a patient search starting with the Patient Search tab. Selecting the Patient Search tab opens many fields that allows for a fairly detailed search for a patient. Notice you can enter the first 4 letters of the patient's last name or the full name if known. You can also select the type of patient in terms of inpatient or outpatient. If you know the services they're receiving or have received, you can use the drop-down menu to identify a particular service. You can also identify them or locate them using the patient type, for example, inpatient emergency room, and when known, to the far right of the screen, their account number and medical record number to help find the patient. Using the Account Select tab, if you know the patient's existing account number, or perhaps you're looking for a previous admission account, you can enter that into the field below and find the patient that way. Finally, the Nursing Station Census Search tab. By selecting this, you have the ability to pull from a drop-down menu all nursing stations available. When selecting a particular nursing station, all patients admitted to that unit will populate the well below. From there, simply scrolling down the list of patients, you can locate the patients you're searching for and either add them to your census by clicking the Add button to the far right of the screen, or pull their patient electronic medical record by selecting their name as a hyperlink. Let's demonstrate now searching for a patient and loading them into the electronic medical record by selecting their name. Then we'll return and actually add them to our personal census. Go to the Patient Search tab, and I'll enter CLIN, first 4 letters of the last name, and clicking Search, populating the well below with all patients starting with the last 4 letters, CLIN. Locating the patient I'm looking for, I can pull their medical record by selecting their name, clicking on the hyperlink CLINDOC1, ClinDoc1. Note now that my patient's medical record has been retrieved and that patient's name and demographic information is loaded into the patient ribbon. At this point, I can perform any patient care charting tasks or order entry tasks using the menu tabs of the navigator to the left. Let's return back to the Patients or Home tab and load a patient into our personal census. Remember, you can locate the patient using either the Patient Search, Account Select, or Nursing Station Census tabs. This time, let's use Nursing Station Census to demonstrate a different process, just for example purposes. We'll use the drop-down menu, and this time we'll select the patients for 5 Southeast. All patients on 5 Southeast will populate the well below. We'll add the patient ClinDoc 32 training by navigating with our cursor to the far right and clicking the Add tab. Now we can return back to Personal Census and we'll find that patient has been added. To remove the patient from our personal census, simply move to the right and select the Remove button. Now that the patient's been loaded into our personal census, each time that you log into MS4 Clinical Suite and select either the Home or the Patients tab of the main menu above, you will immediately view your Personal Census tab below with your patients that you've put into your personal census listed into the well. Always verify that you've selected the correct patient, that their face sheet information coincides with the demographic information listed to the right. Also, as you develop a large personal census list, for example, you may have 4 to 6 patients listed here for your shift documentation for the day, you have the ability to sort them alphabetically, or by room number, or age, or any sorting preference that you prefer using the white arrows of the menu. Simply clicking on the white arrow moves your patients on the list up or down. Finally, as a reminder, you may find that rather than adding patients to your personal census, it's easier to locate patients when needed using the Nursing Station Census tab. This is particularly true for patients on high turnover units, for example, same-day surgery, where you have multiple patients coming to you or assigned to you throughout the shift on short intervals. Loading patients into your personal census in that situation would be more labor-intensive to have to continually add and remove those patients as your patient assignment changes. Rather, it may be easier for high turnover units to simply locate the nursing station that you're working on, pull all patients into the well below, then by selecting the patient name, pulling that patient into the medical record as evidenced by their name appearing into the ribbon, then performing the documentation or order entry tasks as needed. This concludes the brief tutorial on how to perform a patient search and load patients into your personal census.